Yewe the chen reze tri me genpe wang po jang pel yang kang chen kepe su gen song ka pa lo sang Trape Shapla Soade Mikme Sewe the Chen Reze Dream Wang Bo Jang Yang Chen Ke So Gen Song Kang Pa Lo Sang Trape Shapla So Wade Belden Lame Kuse Den Pa Kanyam Yongla Eke Jilwene Dakshen Malu Soksa Drip Jange Nyurtu Sanye Topa Chikelo. Say Chongden Day, Samona Washi Jawa Chokin Nam Dong Keeping Ye the Song So. Yang Day say Jiangchu Senpa Senpa Chen Popa Pa Chen Re Se Wan Chu Shera Ke Paru Tu Chin Pa Za La Chu Pa Na Pa Jing Pong Pong A Po Te Ta La Ching Ke Tong Pa Nam Pa Ta Pene Tu Se Dang Ten Pa Sha Re Bu Jiangchu Senpa Senpa Chen Popa Pa Chen Re Se Wan Chu La Di Ke Che Me So Ri Ke Bu Ka La La Shera Ke Paru Tu Chin Pa Za Ma Chu Pa Chu Pa Te Pa Te Chita la pacha, teke che me pata, chanchu senpa senpa chanpo papa chanre se wanchu ki se tande pacha. Bula di ke che me so, share po, rike boa, rike bomoka, la la shera ke paru tu chimpa za macho pacha pata pate, itana pata wachate, pumpo ngapu te kakyang, ranji ke tompa na payak tapa jisu tahu, sok tongpa u, tongpa nye zuk Sule tongpa nye shen ma yin tongpa nye le kyang su shen ma yin no. Ye shen tu so wa tang tu shi ka tu che ka nam pa she pa nam tongpa u. Share pu te ka che tang che tongpa nye te sen yi me pa ma ke pa ma ka pa ji ma me pa ji ma tong ja wa ji ma me pa ka ma me pa u. Share pu te ka we na tongpa nye la su me so wa me lu she me du che na me nam pa she pa me me, na me, che me, lu me, ye me, su me, dra me, dri me, ro me, reja me, che me do, Niki kame pane, Niki kame, Niki napa shepe kame, Ayuman medo, Mari pame, Mari paze pame pane, Kashime, Kashise, Patu yang medo, Eshen tu watang, kunjong watang, bokata, Lame, Eshime, Opame, Matopa yang medo, Sharipo, Tekawe na Jamchu Sempa na Topa mi peche, Shara ke paru tu chimpala ten chinete, Semla tripa mi chindrapa mi do, Chinchi lole chinto dene, Nangen de meta chinto, Tusung tu nampa shupe sange kamche kya, Shara ke paru tu chimpala tene, Lana me payang tapazo pe chancho tungo pazo pe sange so, Tekawe na Shara ke paru tu chimpenga, Ripa chenpenga, Dunya kamche ratu shiwa che penga, Visu pena tenpa shiva jate, Shara ke paru tu chimpenga, Gade gade para sanga te body soha. Share go janju sempa sempa jimbo teta shara ke paru tu chimpa sa mola la bajao. Ene jomde she janju sempa sempa jimbo papa chenre se wanchula lekto jija wajine. Lexo reke pote te shino te peshin te jita ke pashintu. Shera ke paru tu chimpa za mola chimpa jate chimpa ke chisuri ramo. Kongden de ke sa ne se tang ten pa shara do te butang jang sempa chen po pa chen pe se wan chuta tam che tan den pe po te ta kang la tang mi tang la ma yin tang. Besa je pe je de ye ran de chom de so pa la pa. Jotene Chotapane, Moshe Suchu Nawe Tutoche, Chupa Pula Maya Pushinse, Nezuka Sola Jase. Orga Samadana. Gate para sanga te body soha. Papa kunju sungi kai tempe toke che. Dog argue che, argue che, shiv argue che, raptu shiv argue che. Caring contra che suwata, mi tu no pe kyo tandra wata, tun pa tru ching pun sum su gyo te, Raki te kya te le sho. Om Sangye Chodang Soki Chok Nam La Jang Chu Pa Du Dani Kyap Suchi Dage Chin Soke Pa De Dage Drola Pen Chip Sangye Drupa Sho Sangye Chodang Soki Chok Nam La Jang Chu Pa Du Dani Kyap Suchi Dage Chin Soke Pa De Dage Drola Pen Chip Sangye Drupa Sho Sangye Chodang Soki Chok Nam La Jang Chapa Du Dani Kyap Suchi Dagi Chin Soge Pade Dagi Drola Penche Sange Drola Sho Samchen Tamche Dewa Tande Yukam Dewa Gyuchi Samchen Tamche Dunya Tan Dunya Ke Yutan Jawa Gyuchi Samchen Tamche Dunya Mepe Dewa Tami Jawa Gyuchi Samchen Tamche Nyeri Chata Nyepan Dewi Tanyo Nipan Gyuchi Samchen Tamche Dewa Tam Dewi Gyutan Dewa Gyuchi Samchen Tamche Dunya Tam Dunya Ke Yutan Jawa Gyuchi Samchen Tamche Dunya Mepe Dewa Tam Jawa Gyuchi Tamche Nyeri Chata Nyepan Dewi Tanyo Nipan Gyuchi Samchen Tamche Dewa Tam Dewi Gyutan Dewa Gyuchi Samchen Tamche Dunya Tam Dunya Ke Yutan Jawa Gyuchi Samchen Tamche Dunya Mepe Dewa Tam Jawa Gyuchi Tamche Nyeri Chata Nyepan Dewi Tanyo Nipan Gyuchi Dompalame Sankhe Rinpoche, Kyopalame Tamcho Rinpoche, Drenpalame Indun Rinpoche, Kyapni Kundu, Kyola Chakselo, Mosham Yishu, Chopa Malu, Nesa, Dikdu Tamchesha, Kepa Gyewa, Namla Jira, Kowa Mado, Badu Leshune, Rola Chuki, Kolo Powaku, Lapshengena, Ramchu, Cherebo. On Sashi Perki Joshi Nento Tramri Lishi Indegen Pari Sange Shito Mite Wange Roku Nanda Shila Japa Shu Sensangye Yama So Tri Nam So La Kumpa Nena Janjur Midropa Lewato Miguelze Yopa Son Padra Udopa Jikeno Ida Guru Ratna Mandala Kamnirya Kaya. Jodam Soki Chok Nam La, Jang Chok Padu Da Ne Gyap Suchi, Da Ge Chuk Jim Ge Pe Sonam Ge, Drola Benche Sange Jopa Sho. Jodam Soki Chok Nam La, Jang Chok Padu Da Ne Gyap Suchi, Da Ge Chuk Jim Ge Pe Sonam Ge, Drola Benche Sange Jopa Sho. Jodam Soki Chok Nam La, Jang Chok Padu Da Ne Gyap Suchi, Chenye Ge Pe Sonam Ge, Drola Benche Sange Jopa Sho.
Ene dawata be sunles, kanze rawan juji tune bas, yete de dan zimba majenas, yansa longe shima juju wa dele china kange longa jurs, che sungpa tar, tangaranzo tanda, che jiwe tunye tamje sang, yeje tamje drel, den rejige ane be den juji den, kyutung soba kogaw sangbu yabu den rejige kawla ya, maranzo serap tenji duma yabu ji duma tuba ina, ane kiawa chima nge songe yansar hongpa inba ina, ane tenegi yunyabe ane be alakawa sheta res yusumwe.
Arya Chandrakirti, the great Acharya, gives the following advice. If a person fails to look after himself when free to act and living favorably, what will raise him again from that abyss where he has fallen under another's power? So basically, the advice given by Acharya Chandrakirti is that to remind us, now with this human life, we have all the favorable condition to practice the Dharma, and all the negative condition has been abandoned, or we are saved from them. They already being abandoned, and we are protected from the negative condition. With this such a good and favorable circumstance that we have now, if we fail to guarantee a good rebirth in the next life and the next life and the next life after that, if suppose we fall into the lower realms, who will help us? It will be very difficult if we suppose fallen into the lower realms, no one can help us.
제사 기승의 송이 양살을 통벌지 이메는 배든 직딩으로 민다와 직 통용 거다 그런 레경은 다당 알아서 도와미 통약은 자불링디 심지 뜬르듯이 디낭시지 통고야 말하냐 그런 레경냥 때지 민다와지.
What happened when we fall into the lower realms? It will completely change our world all completely together. So for example, now we sit here as a human, then as a human, we have the world view as a human being, as a human mind. If we fallen into the lower realms, this human world view that we have completely different with the world view of a, say like an animal. For them, it's a completely different world, completely different world view.
제상 알아서 내시야디 말아서 직딩디 많이 봐 직딩 현다도 삼다야 요 말에서 그런 레경 거다 나가랑 연구야레스.
So as for the lower realms, it's not a matter of this world or another world or a different world. It's a matter of karma. By the power and the karma and klesha, we can fall into the lower realms and we experience the world view as a lower realms being.
제상 때나 이달라리 기비 유나에 다가랑도 거라냐 지금 레경 거 거란 자주 거라라 타에 자주 쳐보 자주 거를 추쳐보 들려질라 거란 냠도 유대 위에는 거란 레경이냐 카고니 레그리스도.
So among the lower realms, for example, the beings born as hell realms, hell beings, and other than that is the beings born as hungry ghosts. So hungry ghosts is a beings due to the karma and the klesha experience such an intensified hunger and such intensified thirst. Even though he met the being met with an ocean, still he will not satisfy the thirst, because that is the nature of the suffering of the hungry ghost realm.
근데 말씀자 대답을 기비 이나당 알아서 취지 고갑세에 대한 하장이 답에 갈래가고 싶으지 차차로.
If we have fallen into that kind of world with that kind of suffering and hardships, then it is very, very difficult, completely difficult for us to do any kind of Dharma practice.
근데 말씀자 단다대 주기 때문에 누리 못이디 두 취지 튕기 함제 차에 갈라야 수수 류다 셈니가 준비 갈라야 오늘 당내기 셈다 파타르 취니 안에 취야 고지 두고 상대다 공부시주 인계청벌이라 고고 시바 좀더 마세 안에 배제 냠년라 나야디 빼미스베 계청부 차요레스.
Therefore, the fact that now we still have the human life with precious human rebirth, with freedom and fortune, therefore, with this life and this body that we have now, this body and this mind, which is a very, very favorable condition, there is absolutely, this is the critical time for us to make the decision to really put ourselves into putting effort into practicing the Dharma. And this is very important while we still have all the favorable condition. Not only that we put the decision, we make the decision, but really put the action into the action, the practice of to put the practice of the Dharma into action.
다 망보시라 슈모가제라 다 강다냐다 정면라마 종가바치베 숨바낭신게 다 간다레 최 태바치비 최인바 미저게 가사 태바치모 지도와 고소세 시 숨바 따르게 하는 말아주 최 안낭바산제비 최지다 사바르도 태바치비 최 안에 대답을 지어야 굴루줘야 돼 하장에 계시면 무슨 예심지 탐제 동에 써야다 대화 토약의 최도 산예지 고만 토바 지금이 대체도 담배 최야 보지 년에 아니 바데 가제 툭두지 냠서 된게 이해삼베 안에 굴무된 데 주소로나스.
So, without further elaboration, in short, we have to follow what is being instructed by Rinpoche, Lama Tsongkhapa, when he says that not only the teaching must be a Mahayana Dharma, but the practitioner themselves must be a Mahayanist. So among the Mahayanist Dharma and Mahayanist practitioners, the most important is to be determined by the motivation. So again, we still have to generate the motivation for the sake of all sentient beings, our kind mothers who are limitless in number, in order to overcome all their sufferings and to present them with the ultimate happiness. For these two purposes, we need to achieve Buddhahood. And in order to achieve Buddhahood, we are here to listen to the Dharma. And after listening, we will put effort into practicing. Please generate such motivation as of now.
다 말아서 sembarjawe 담배 취기 참디 안에 디카둘레요 싸워제비는 가시 코데 최남 탐지기 윤대남이 로아 메통신 미괴대소 간이 군시바 되네 산제집에 남라 쇼스 왜
네.
다디 가르송가르 따와 때는 패바세요리 아 동번이 있어야 돼 사무 동번이 있어야 돼 간대지리 있어야 돼 따와데마 때는 패버리다.
As for this, we continue our lesson based on the three principal qualities of the path. And now we have come to the verse number 10. And for verse number 10, following the text, seeing all phenomena of samsara and nirvana existing in a completely infallible cause and effect relationship, whoever fully holds the mode of apprehension of grasping at reality by that fact enters the path that pleases the Buddhas. So we have come to the continuation of the explanation on verse number 10, and this is explaining mainly about the philosophical view related to the understanding of emptiness.
다디만 대셔리 주비나 가시 코데 최남 탐지기 윤대남이 로아미 동시 다 강시 코데 강시 있어야 돼. 강시 있어야 돼. 가르스 디자마 하르드 하르바드기 가사 간다 간 이미네 뭐 하르바드기 가사지 이미나 가사 간디지 이미나 양시 뭐들이 되나.
So when it is said that seeing all phenomena of samsara and nirvana, so whoever, this is referring to whoever, to see the all phenomena of samsara and nirvana, which is existing in a completely infallible cause and effect relationship.
다 강시 코르데스야디 가르스 디자마 코르스야디 코아다 그런 제로 데스야디 냥데스나 타르바스 거다. 간다르 코르데기 최탐지기 코르데기 최탐지기 윤대 남이야 로아메 동시 윤대 남이야 스디삼바 다 말아서 코아다 안에 냥데 니 예베 나네 다 코알마 코알마 사야게 규디기 수지기리 스디삼바 안에 규군주 템바다 제부 둥이 템바세 니와 어디 니기 지고요레스 다 데스야데 냥데 타르바데 토비알라야 규수 지고요레스나 안에 배 곡된다 람데니기 지고요레스 어디리
양자를 숨기게나 공다. 덴바시 남니
코르데스도 코르스야디 다 간다 준데 남이야 로아 메통시 준데스야디 로아 요 말에서로 마제자다 코르데스야디 코아스야디 아니마 말아도 코알레 계약이 규디 덴바시나니 수지기리스나 동의 덴바다 군주 덴바 세니여로
Yes.
어디 니디게 가서 콜마 사주고 그러고
Yes.
다 안에 냥데 타르바데야 타르바토비알야 수주지 그래서는 아는 곡 된다 남내니기 지고요 그래서 디루와요 말이지 그거죠.
Yes. So by this the first two lines, seeing all phenomena of samsara and nirvana existing in a completely infallible cause and effect relationship. So regarding samsara, what are the causes that cause us to be reborn again in samsara? This is referring to the Four Noble Truths, the first and the second, the truth of suffering and the truth about the origin of suffering. So for samsara is these two truths that cause us to be reborn again and again. And then for the nirvana, because to be out of samsara means that we can experience nirvana. The nirvana that we achieve is related to the Four Noble Truths, to the truth number 3 and 4, the truth of cessation, and the truth of the part.
제사다 말아줘 배나 육 군주 덴바다 동의 덴바세야 제부 동의 덴바세야 돼 군주 덴바세야 돼 레다 뉴모니로 레다 뉴모디 원게 안에 말아줘 코알마 참주 그래서 제사 말아줘 뉴모 교원도 침배이나 셈디 뉴모도 장냐 침대비이나 제부디 코알마 산이 동의만도 용야요 말에 뒤타 쳐버려서 다 말아줘 셈디 계획 졸라 파치네 안에 곡된다 람데 냠슬렘바 된데 중배이나 안에 말아줘 안에 배지 동의 탐제단 제외 안에 배지 타르바세야디 톱투고레스 말아줘 지야디 두근이기 자와디 제부 타르바토야세야디 요 말이스 말아줘 지야디 곡된다 람데 냠슬레네 제부디 코알마 사야세야디 요 말이스
So when the samsara, what is the cause of samsara? This is referring to the truth, the first and the second, the truth of suffering and the truth of the origin of suffering. So among the two, the second one, the truth of the origin of suffering, meaning the cause of the suffering, what are these referring to? The truth of the origin of suffering, it is referring to karma and kilesa. It's because of karma and kilesa, then we are reborn into the samsara, and again we are circling in the cyclic existence. So when the mind stream still have what is called klesha, then the result must be suffering. Because when the mind stream still have klesha, then the mind stream will in turn bring the result of reborn in samsara. When reborn in samsara, that equals suffering. On the other hand, when the mind can already generate the positive thoughts in the form of the third and the fourth noble truth, the truth of cessation and the truth of the part. When the mind can generate the third and the fourth out of the Four Noble Truths, then the result of this is liberation. So if the mind still generating the causes of suffering, then there is no happiness because the mind itself is still generating the causes of suffering. If the mind already can generate the causes of liberation, then the mind, by achieving liberation, it will not experience suffering.
There's quote 시에비나 들려로 다 규티과 사베이나 제부기부 유야세야디 요 말했어 제부 대화세야디 유야 요 말했어 두 개화디 사베이나 안에 제부 동미세야디 유야 요 말했어 제사 규 가르 사베이나 제부 디다 튜버지 용거리스 규티과 사는 제부 대화 유야디 튜버 말와 두 개화 사는 제부 동미 유야디 튜버 말와 된대지 용거 말했어.
So in short, in simple terms, what I've been just explained, if we try to explain it in simpler terms, basically is that if the cause is something that is non-virtuous, it cannot bear the result of happiness. If the result is something that is virtuous, it cannot bring suffering. Because whatever is the nature of the cause, then will be go along with the nature of the result. So something which is bad cannot bring happiness. On the other hand, something which is good or virtuous cannot bring suffering. The two are not compatible. Whatever the cause must be compatible with the result. This is the simplest form we can explain from what we have just seen from the lines.
Pere chachaviana ngarazo pa sabendi ane kambu tabiyana ro buwa pichiti pa tabiyana yendre wuti tabara deda tubi buwa pichiti yungoya madoya ge dendre danya jibu shinda yungoya mara ta ngarazo tambo pa sabendi ta yungde zamba ge dendre tabiyana 두고라냐 부와 비지들 유야요 말아 어디나 시리 주게 wal체발라 때는 제고 대화 유야마도 중요해요 말에 따그라래 저런 거
Yes. So in a more specific example of the simplest term that we try to see here, say that it will go around for the cause, say with the example is a seed. So the seed of a peach, the fruit of which is peach, if we plant the seed of peach, then the result must be peach. If we plant the seed of peach, it cannot bring the result of a rice. The same is if we plant the seed of rice, it cannot bring the result in the form of a peach. So if it's something that is good, which is the cause, cannot bring something which is suffering in nature. And the other way around, if the cause is something non-virtuous in nature, it cannot bring something which is happy.
세상 다 된대게 안에 규단 제부시야 될 로아메바데 토네 괜히 봐도 윤대 맞춰봐서 그러다 윤대 로아메바데 토네 안에 뒤 나면 로아메바다 이 말아도 야고지 켐고 그래서 레고나면 로아메 통시에서 로아메바데 하고네 미괴대에서 간이 군시바스 미괴대에서 간이 군시바스야 되다 된다데 가르에서 뒤sam바다 다다 대갑수다 균대기 텐데 숨고요. 미괴대에서 해야 돼. 말한저 셈나놀이야. 대바마두 신도 대바 진대야. 대문에 많이 신도 문문에 제삼배 되네 삼로지 여러 당진 가사 당지세야 딩지세야 도. 도서 다 대문에 말에대 대응업에 달랑원에 많이 봐줘 말아줘 뭐는 진대라 뭐는 진배 땡내 말아줘 레망보지 사고요래 디바망보지 사고요래 제사 대가는 지만나시 요마래 삼배 삼로 땅내 된대게 요래 삼배 삼로대 파켜 버리서 파 맵서 그래서 딜
So the one that we have just seen, that the cause must be compatible with the result, this is exactly that we must have a certainty about it. This is exactly shown by the word when it say existing in a completely infallible cause and effect relationship. So between the cause and the effect, the relationship between the two is completely infallible. It's a certain in a way that we have just seen, the cause and must be compatible with the result. And for this, we have to understand it well, understand it thoroughly, understand it well. Then the next lines state that whoever fully holds the mode of apprehension of grasping at a reality. So this line is referring that within our mind, there is still something that which is not real, then we insist that it is real. Which is not there, something which is not there, will insist that it is there. Why? Because of the grasping at reality. Something that is only an appearance, we insist there is something really true existent there, whereas it is not there. So the fact that we insist something which is there while it's not there, this is that we need to realize, to pinpoint the false. And then after pinpointing the false, we must understand something which is not there, that we say it is there, actually is not there. This wrong thought that we must overcome.
pena dinderowa 다 말아도 상마다 야가지 야근 되고만도 두구지 야근 되고다 지단이 요 말아 말아도 저와 가르쳐 비니 이나야 말아도 가디임베네 지야데 야부 제인 삼증고요데 야부 제인 삼증고요래라 이 전반랑 신기 수수모네데 레가디 촐라다 로데거로 이나에 때문에도 놀고요. 가르쳐나 말한도 대바 많이 받질라 대바 진지. 대바 많이 받질라 대바 지인데 다가랑 놀고 그래. 다 다가라 뒤로.
So in general, we can say that everyone in all kind of situation, the person would like something which is good. He would not something which is bad. In just anything that we are doing, we are conducting. We would like something that is good in nature. We don't like something which is bad. So, however, despite the fact that we are wanting something good, we do not wish for something bad. In doing this, there is a misunderstanding. There is a fault. What is the fault? Something that is not truly existing, we insist that is truly existing, which is a fault.
미베테서 간이 꾸이시바 되네 산제집에 남라 슈스. 다 대다we 다 말아도 템바지비 미베테서 템바 많이 받질래 템바레 삼베 삼로지 여러 어디 바 시투바 방 각투바 맵스 투비나 다디 산제 투 이야기 다 람상부지 그래서 디숨거.
So whoever fully holds the mode of apprehension of grasping and reality to stop when thinking something that is truly existent, not truly existent to be something that is truly existing, and we stop this kind of misthinking, this kind of wrong thinking, then the result is something good, which is shown by the line number 4. By that fact, someone who cannot fully stop that wrong view, who by that fact enters the path that pleases the Buddhas.
다 도디지게 내제로 아니 예제래야 다 되래. 다외 제바 마족베 세스. 다외 제바 족베 세스이다. 다외 제바 만족베 세스이지 니요. 다와 원에 데데데데레스로 다와시야 돼. 다와 원에디 귤레 깨비나 데데데레스. 다와 원에 귤라 마제비나 데데데레스 니요. 다가다 다 당고데 다와 제바 만족베 세스야 돼. 다외 제바 만족베 세스. 이가르스디 나와 텐데 루아 메바 당스로 동아 켈렌저 고아니 지수수수 나와 디시도 나도 투비 공부 또 봐메스 다디테 갈래요리 디 니네 간다르디 다웨 제바 만족과 세세들이 멜로디 지순다
아웨니디 연결 숨게겠나.
이 워그들이 디 월이 주치디 남시리 조세들이 이나야 다웨 제바 만족과 당고디 다는 게 나야디 다웨 제바 만족과 다웨 제바 만족과다 다웨 제바 조베 체스 니요
Yes.
다웨 제바 만족과디 제일 리그로 당고디 다 가서 다웨 제바 조베 체스야디 제일 리그리 다 당고 다웨 제바 만족베 체스 이면은 딜레 레라오지로
Thì trích thì học
근데 디 월리리
để wala thì
다웨 나와 텐데 루아 메바다 두에
nó trên đây luôn bằng
어디리지 나와 텐데 루아 메바다 동아 켈레르 고아니 지수수수 나와 디시도 다도 투비 공부 또 메시야디
để
다웨 제바 만족베 체리 다다 디 카드들이
tôi chơi bên mà chỗ
다웨 제바 세들어 데레지라 따와 세그레 따와 원에디 디레스 따와 세지라고도
rồi
따와 원에 세야디 디레 따와 디 따와 원에 마레세 디레 단다디 따와 원에 마레세 디레 다 디젤라 따와 원에 디레세 디레 그리스
ale sim. So after this, we see between the next verses, which is verse number 11 and verse number 12, because we will see the view. So between the view, there is so-called what is the real view, and the one this is unreal view. So for the unreal view, this comes first because we see it in verse number 11, because when in verse number 11, when it says appearances, infallible, dependent, arising, and emptiness, free of assertions of enduring existent and of non-existent, as long as you can discern the two separately, you have not yet realized the Buddha's intent.
다 나와 텐데 루아 메바다 또아 켈레데 고니 세데 나와 텐데 세야다 또아세 나와다 또아니 디데 진욕도 사위래 이나야 다 텐다 텐데리 나와 텐데 세야데 나와 텐지 되와 세데라 나와 텐중다 또아랑 힘에 봐 세데리 어디니 쇼그레 잠 시장 디니 시지기 텐도 게두 소나 지단 나와 세야지로 나와 텐데 세야디다 동아랑 신 매바 세야디 하고비 이나야 지단 수수수수 하고비 이나야 시지기 때도 디 바진디 군이 로가리 삼 샤베나 타와만에 말했어 그래 페나 덴데레 나데 남니 덴데지 삼고여로 덴데 세단 덴데 세디 삼바 최 탐지 지기 찍라 덴데 버리스 규디 레부디 규라 덴바데 두두두제네 요레스 그래 아나 동아세야데 먼저 딱된세네 큐네 요 말에 세지여로 즉 요레 세야지다 즉 요 말에 세야데 베 개원항시 삼이나 다 안에 따왕원에 대 말에서 이거도
Budu.
말해서 즉베 요레 세야지다 즉 요 말에 세야데 이딴다데 요레 세야데 가레스데 삼아 유다 땡라 땡네 중화지 여러 거랑 민잠지 두가데 요레 최탐제 민잠지 두가데 요레 요 말에 세야데 가레스나 말한도 나와낭시 요 말에 세야데 이거 군이 개그 말에 뭐네 제비나 개그 말데 이나야 낭술랑 개와소리 좋아 즉 요레스기도 민잠지 두비 요레스기도 지기냐 요 말에스기도 제자 요레스야다 요 말에스야디 지단 개와로 이나야 그 때문에도 그 개와 말을 어디 개와만 임바시고 그래 개와디 셰비 개와만 임바시비나 다 디게요래
Yes. So this verse number 11, when we say appearances, infallible, dependent, arising, and then the other one is the emptiness free of assertions of inherent existent and of non-existent. So between appearance and the emptiness free of assertions, so when we have yet to see these two to be different, appearance being appearance and emptiness free of assertion being emptiness free of assertion, and the two of these seems to be different, to be functional by themselves. This is what we need to see, because, for example, for the infallible dependent arising, the appearances, the dependent arising means that everything is depending on one with another. So based on the certain cause will then comes the result, and then the next one from one cause to another result and go so forth is depending between one another, dependent arising. Then on the other hand, what is empty, there is nothing there. There is no true existence. So between the two, when we say something must have the cause to be relied upon to come to the result, then the other side we see there is empty of any inherent existence, something that is must there, then something that is empty. This is at the beginning it seems like it's contradictory. So long that the practitioners see these two to be contradictory between appearance and the emptiness free of assertion, this is to be said is not the real view. So how do we understand it in simple terms? What is existing when we say the dependent arising is when a certain cause is causing the result. This is on the labeling only. Then it is not really existent. It's on the label only. What is not existing when we and the emptiness of it. The emptiness of it is our perception of it to be truly existent. This is not there. So between the two, the two at the surface level, can be seen contradictory toward one another. Something which is dependent within each other, dependent arising, but still we have to see the emptiness of it. So something which is there and something which is empty at the surface level can be seen contradictory, but it is not. In general, in simple, when we say that something which is there and something which is empty, the two seem to be contradictory. So long that one still see these two to be contradictory, then it's not the real view. It's the contradictoriness of view that we have to overcome. Then we don't see any contradictory. This is what we need to achieve.
다 강다자다 귤레 제부 미쳐와 주의 때데 로아 메바 대다 최담제 랑게 뭐 두바 뒤삼야 메베 동바 켈렌데 고아 니부데 뒤 남에야 안에 뒤 남시 바르칸다 펜주 차다다 수순 개와나 디스도 다돈 투비 공바 타투바데 아니 진지 말로바 또 투부 말에서 지다 여다 되레지리 다디 도도디 가리스 뒤삼바 하나 말아주 귤레 제부 중국에서 딱이 쉬려와 귤가레 이메나 데이터 튜브 제부디 중국에서 텐데라리 텐데게 중이로 지기 때는 데이터 야 최탐제 유자면 랑신지 두바 요마라 나저나와나시 요마레 시야디로 최탐 균데게 텐데 시용 뒤자마 말아주 귤데이터 튜브 제부디 중국에 요레세야 데이터 아는 말아서 나와나시 요마레시야디 개와마 임바하고 그러다 다다 개와 안을 사보다 장무시야디 개와로 다 사보다 장무시야디 개와 임바나시 안에 규대라 때는 레부디 중국에 텐데 레시야디다 최담제 장신지 주바 요마레시야디 매바시야디다 요바시야 니보디 안에 차나다보디 제베야나 안에 동이기 따와문에데 말해서 버다간다
So what we established initially, that what is the cause, the nature of the cause must determine the nature of the result. What is good will bring happiness and so forth. This is certain. This is the first thing we can establish. But then for everything to be existing from itself, to carry the essence, the truly existent essence from itself, based our own perception, to take it as a truly existing, this is not there. On one hand, we say that yes, with a certain cause will cause a certain result. This is true. But then the concept of the things that truly existing by itself on just about any phenomena is not there. So between establishing this concept that the cause and effect must be compatible, and saying that it does not exist from its own self, the two we have to see is not contradictory. And by saying the word contradictory in the very basic form of contradictory, what is contradictory? When something is hot, it cannot be cool. When something is cool, it cannot be hot. But in the case when we state that from a certain cause must come a certain result, this is certain. Then from this concept, there is nothing exists from its own self. So this is what is stated here is empty from any truly existing self from itself. So something that is exists, then we say that is empty from its truly existing self. So as if in the surface level, something which is exists, and then we negate it to say non-existing. On the surface level, it seems to be contradictory. So long that a pretendist still see these two to be contradictory, it is said to be not the real view, not the real sunyata view. The two of them are non-contradictory.
아데스 차고 찬우도와 다 디젤이야 데지 세부 차고 이주리 어디 상담이나 베질 안에 따위 제바 조베 체대 가르세는 남시를 좀 해봐 지자도 텔레미노 통화 쌈니네 예시 진진다 군지나 대세 따위 제바 조바라 군이 독처리 오버시티리 군이 다디 간데레 시디 잠바 다 마르시아 바타르다 사모 동반이기 따와 다 동반이지 따와지라
Mm.
동이지 따와들라 맞아 니시리데 니네 그래서 야고지 된다 야고 하고 거라디 차요데 양양 공부이나 양내 양도 공부이나 간대 차고를 수도 잠아 최탐제라 민야 따유 잠기 안에 기디기 자제 태브레스 최탐제 민야 따유 잠 두브레스 민잠기 두버레 민잠기 두베 땡네 안에 디게와레 디디과레 디규리 디데부레스야 되기 말아도 자제디 태그레 로다 디 요레스야 디 디레
Mm.
다 딱된 제나 다 최탐제 파세는 자리 고세비나 안에 베지 큐네 녀야 매바 동바지 여러
Mm.
다 세비나 큐네 다 녀야 요마르 고 동바 동냐르와
Mm.
어디니디 다 뱅게와 많이 바데 통소나
Mm.
어디디 안에 동바니 이다와 녀브리다
Yes.
동니 이다와 줄레 께브리다 간다르
Mm. So by this, we can compare with the next verse. Hopefully, it can be a little bit clearer because the next verse, verse number 12, when it says, when the two occur not distinctly but concomitantly, and the mere sight of an infallible dependent arising gives rise to certain understanding of non-inherent existence that destroys the mode of apprehension of the object, then the analysis of the view is complete. So between verse number 11 and verse number 12, they are contradictory. So the first one is to be not the real view, the second one is the real view. So what is meant by verse number 12, when we have seen from verse number 11, when this is not the real view, because we still see the contradictory between the two, and we have to see that is non-contradictory to have the real view. Then after that, we contemplate them again and again between the contradictory between the two. We see is non-contradictory. Why? Because it exists only by labeling. So this is when in verse number 12, when we see is the mere sight of infallible dependent arising. It's only the labeling of what? Because the labeling, this is something good, this is something bad, this is virtuous, this is non-virtuous. When we say something good, the cause is good, then the result will be happiness. This is true, but the trueness of this is only on the mere sight, only on the labeling. When we try to see, to search this concept, to search again and again, what we will find that it will be empty. There is nothing within the concept itself, it will be empty. And when we see the emptiness of this and the certainty of between the dependent arising, when we have seen that between the two there is no contradictory, and then that is the point where we have seen the real view, the correct view of emptiness.
페리 차샤비나 간사 트시시야지 미지 유비나 다 트시시야디 다 고랑 민잠지 두버레서 그랬다 트시시야디 고랑 민도지 두시야로 민잠지 다 고랑의 수주 풍부 소유 풍부 두시 풍부가 여래 어델라 봐 트시시 민다셔 그래 그 민잠지 두버레마도 트시시야디 고랑은 두비요 말이 고랑 민잠지 마두제 고랑 랑은에 가서 나와 나시 담분이 두비는 코마 기드니 트시시 게임물이 당부 기드 트시시 요마라 그 트시시 제일 민다셔 주로
And for this, we try to see based on the example. Imagine a person by the name of Tashi. So what is Tashi? Tashi is a person that we label the name Tashi. Tashi as a person, he has the 5 aggregates, the form aggregates, the feeling aggregates, so complete 5 aggregates that we label into a person, which is called Tashi. So this is Tashi based on labeling. The way we see Tashi is not like this. The way we see Tashi, that Tashi really exists. He is Tashi. He really exists. This cannot be other than Tashi. If Tashi really exists by itself, can exist by its own self without anything, then this Tashi must be Tashi at all time, at any given time. So this Tashi, before he was born, he is not Tashi. Only when he was born, then this person is being named, and we name him Tashi, then he exists based on naming. Before that, he is not Tashi. So he's born and we give him Tashi. So based on naming that a person named Tashi existing, but we are not seeing Tashi like that. We think Tashi is there all time, and he really truly exists from itself.
제가 자시세야디 나도 나와나시 두비나 땅분이 자시세 주스 용거리 디요 말세 라우라 다간다 자시세 여러와다 얘네 여러와 다 여래서 그러와 다 유디자 뭐 간디스 여르스는 민삼지 여래스 민삼지 여래세 딕소 다고 파세베 자시 거와도 자시기 라과 자시리베 자시기 강바 자시리베 와다 자시기 류기 차세레레레네 봐서는 자시세야 춘이 통야요 말아 어디 말한도 나와나 신직이 요 말에 대바 두비요 말에 대디리 이 개그민도 민zam지 줍시야디다 안에베 나와나 신 매시야디로 민zam지 예시야디다 나와 수술라 나와나 신요 말에 대바 두비 요 말에 시야디 어디니 개와 차그민도 나 개와 가시기 네 개와 통고 개와 통제 안에 켈링 거요 말에 어딘들이
Yes. So the way we perceive Tasi, we perceive this Tasi to be existing at all time. Even when before Tasi was born, we perceive it to be Tashi. Then when he was born, at any given time, this person must be Tashi. And this is our perception perceiving this, which is not there. We said that, we saw it already. Tasi before Tasi is not there. When he born, we label Tasi, then he exists based on labeling. So what we see, we perceive to be truly existing Tasi is not there. But then, is Tasi completely non-existing? No, because Tasi do exist. How does Tasi exist? Based on labeling. When we try to seek for Tasi, the Tasi that is truly existing, where is Tasi? Is it Tasi on the hand? Is it Tasi, the truly existing Tasi on his leg, on his bodies? Then we search one by one all the body parts, and we cannot find the truly existing Tasi. So the perception that we put on Tasi, that the Tasi to be truly existent, is nowhere to be found. So our perception on Tasi is non-existent. So between what is existing based on labeling and the one when we search for the truly existing Tasi, which is not there, which is empty, seems to be contradictory. At one time you say, yes, there is Tasi based on labeling, but when you search for the truly existing Tasi, it's not there. No, it's not there. Then something which is there and is not there, the two on the surface level can be contradictory, but it is not contradictory. The problem when some parts, people say, these two are contradictory. So you say something and you say the other contradictory, then the person cannot accept. So this concept cannot accept. He insists that it's a contradictory thing. He cannot accept. What we are stating here, the fact that the Tasi based on labeling and the truly existing Tasi that we said is not existing, the two are not contradictory.
what in the very chashana dinima chu shegoyoro. That chu shaking me, Gendi. Tadima digitizama kotsebina. Tangi lagwa mamare, Kamba Gamma, Lugi Chashe Kaya Namaro. Tanga Kawadu se Lavina. That's Hangmanyamdo di Resigra, the Midus Kisi Lavina. Then Yamdo de Mamaro. That do some danger.
So we give another more relevant context example. This time I will take the teacher who is teaching as the example. So the teacher who is teaching as example, where is the person? So the teacher, where is the person? The one, for example, we address as Genla. What is this Genla? Is the Genla on his hand? Is a Genla on his legs? So you search the body parts. Is Genla on this side of the body part and that side of the body part? No, because you think about it, Genla is not Genla's hand. Genla is not Genla's legs. So where is this Genla? Then there is one side of thinking saying that, oh, then the Genla is there where? The combination of all those body parts. So there is opinion the answer is there, the combination of all.
ဒါပဲနာငယ်လောက်ပတ်ဒီတော့
Mm.
ငယ်လောက်ပတ်ဒီငါရဲလာပြီနာ
Mm.
ငယ်လောက်ပတ်ဒီငါရင်လောက်ပတ်တယ်လောက်ပတ်ဒီငါတော့ဒါလောဆန်ပန်ပါစီဒီဒီရဲစလောက်ပတ်ဒီစရာကြတော့
Mm.
ဒီစီဒီငါရင်မနာဒေလခါဂောရဲအမ်ဂျိုဂောရဲဆမ်မဂောရဲဒီကာရင်းငါခါရအမ်ဂျိုရဲဆမ်မရဒီလိုဂောရဲ
Yes. So, for example, if we try to search the Genla's name is Rosa Pempar, and we pinpoint, oh, the Genla is his hand. Without his hand, it's not a Genla. So the Genla is his hand. If we say Genla is his hand, then this hand at the same time must have what? He must have a mouth. He must have a head. Because the Losam Pempar as a person has a mouth. So if you say the hand is a Genla Losam Pempar, the hand must have the same, the mouth, the head, and etc. This is the consequence when we say the Genla is the hand.
ကျေစံငယ်လောက်ပတ်ဒီငါမရင်ပါဆဲပါတော့ဒါရင်နေဒါငယ်ကာလောက်ကြစနငယ်လောက်ပတ်ဒီနာစနငါနာကြည့်သူစိကြတယ်ငေါနေကျနငယ်လောက်ပတ်နာရမတော့ငါနာရောမှာတယ်ငါတို့နမ်ယူတော့ဆူဆူလောက်ပတ်နာတဲ့ငါနာကြည့်သူစိကြတော့ကျေစံလောက်ပတ်ဒီငါရင်ပါငွန်ကြည့်ကြပါငေါနေကျနလောက်ပတ်ဒီငါမှာတော့
Mare.
ဟုတ်တယ်
Yes.
ပြန်တော့
Mm.
ဒီတော့ I am sick ဆိုတာကြတော့ဒါဒီလောက်ပတ်ဒီနာနာ
Mm.
ငေါနေကျနလောက်ပတ်ဒီငါမှာတယ်လောက်ပတ်နာဝလာတဲ့ငါနာစိကတော့ကျုံစေကာရစမ်တော့လောက်ပတ်ဒီဆူဆူရင်ပါစမ်တော့လောက်ပတ်ဒီဆူဆူမာရဆူဆူလောက်ပတ်ဆူဆူမာရ
Another consequence when we say that the Genla is the hand, so when the hand is sick, then we say the Genla says I am sick. Why? Because when the hand is sick, then when we relate the sickness in the hand with us being sick. This is what happens in normally when we say when the hand is sick, when we say then we conclude I am sick. What are you sick of? Because my hand is sick. Actually, this is not that way because the hand is not the eye. So due to the hand being sick, then we can say I am in the condition of my hand is sick, but not because the hand is sick, then I am sick. This is because we relate the hand to be eye and hand the same. So the hand is sick, then we say I am sick. This is another consequence if we say that the Genla exists on the hand.
ဒီစေဘရောဒါငယ်လောက်ပတ်နာပြီနော်ငါလောက်ပတ်နာကိုတော့ငါရငယ်လောက်ပတ်နာကိုရတဲ့မြေကြီးကြည့်ကြည့်တီးပြီကြရတေဘူးရင်ပဲဆိုတော့ငါတေဘူးမြေတော့ငါနာကြည့်သူလာတယ်ငါနာကြည့်သူကာရနာကြည့်သူလာငါလောက်ပတ်နာကြည့်သူစေတဲ့ကြည့်ကြည့်ညိပတ်တံကိုတဲ့ငါနာကြည့်သူလာတယ်လောက်ပတ်နာဝေကျုံစလာတဲ့ဆူဆူနာကြည့်သူလာတယ်ကျလောက်ပတ်တဲ့ဆူဆူစီရောဟုတ်တယ်
Yes. So when the Genla is having the sickness on the hand, then for example, someone came to Genla and asked, how are you? Then the Genla said, I am sick. And then the person asked the second question, how are you sick? Because my hands are sick. My hands are sick. The hand are sick is only the second time we explained it. When the first time the person addressed the question, how are you? Genla doesn't say my hand is sick. He immediately say I am sick. Then the person asks again, how are you sick? Because of my hand is sick. This is another consequence to see that we relate the eye with the hand, whereas the hand is not the eye. Is we relate the hand to be exactly is the eye.
ဒီနေ့မှာစွန်းစားငါရန်ဆိုတဲ့နမ်ယူနေတင်တယ်တော့တုံကြီးတောက်စီရတဲ့စမ်တန်တာတဲ့တင်ဒီကြီးငယ်လောက်ပါရငါမာတယ်ငယ်ကံပါရငါမာတယ်ဒါငါစေတဲ့ကဘတော့စဲနေချွနေရမင်းတို့စမ်လို့ဒီတန်ယူတော့ဒါငါရဆိုကံငယ်တာသူမီမန်ဘူးချီရတဲ့စမ်ပါဒါသူမီချင်ဘူးချီကင်းကံငယ်မန်ဘူးရွေးစီကင်းမိဒီငါစေတဲ့ကဘတော့စဲနေချွနေရမင်းတို့ 니야 매베 갑라 때 지금 흘러리 차요. 당부배 삼로배 강에 시부유주 심 마기부 시부유주디 파제제제 춘이 니야 매베 지금 삼다이나 흘러 차야죠.
So in this way, we are trying to see what is meant by the view of emptiness. So the view of emptiness, when it's applied on a person, the eye of the person is not the hand. The eye of the person is not on the leg. And when we try to search for the eye on the person, be it ourselves, for example, ourselves, we search our eye. When we say we address ourselves, I, me, then we search this I, this me inside. You try to search from one part, body part, whatever you could think of, you try to search. Then the final of the result of the searching, you cannot find the I. You address yourself I or me, this is me, but when you find the me, you try to search the me, where is this I or me? The final answer, you cannot find it. And the implication from this, there is the I that we feel there exists something that is not exist to existing. This is very clear when we feel we are suffering. The eyes is very big at that time because we are suffering and we are experiencing hardship, such a huge suffering and intense suffering, a big hardship. That is the moment when the eyes is the biggest form at that time. So if we can apply the searching of the eye, it cannot to be found. Where is the I, this me who is suffering? When we try to search again and again, and by the end we cannot find it. The implication of the huge suffering that we feel, the huge difficulty we feel, naturally will lessen, will be decreasing, because the I itself we cannot find. Then the I who is suffering in such a way, a big suffering, is naturally coming down the suffering, is decreasing the level of the hardship that we feel, and naturally bring a calmness to ourselves.
다 된대기 나 무에서 나르디 다 로가여로 내가 믿으시는 나 대요리스 그러 나 나서 라고데 슈그리스 다 등산 나 나서 대베 레베나
So by this, perhaps there is a changing of your view of yourself. When we say I, how do people say I? Usually, naturally, people say, oh, this is me, I'm here, I. So it's like there is an I, so hey, this is me, this is I. But nowadays, in these modern times, perhaps the I already changed place. Nowadays say that this is I, because nowadays people relate more to the brain. So we address the I is inside the brain. So what used to say, this is me, then become this is me.
다 등신 신리기다 이 시용도 삼바다 레바다 되어이네 다 시에고라다 마세 디딜라고도
So because nowadays, to verify any facts or truth, society of us rely mostly on science. And when we say science, it relies mostly, if we talk about a person, then there is many emphasis rely upon on the brain. So nowadays, when you see some being shown the gesture, this is me. People say, this is me, referring to here.
아 계란저 라우라다 옛날에 슈티간라 두시그라 슈티간에 이제된 아마르 네 수그르만 당 아마레 나마르 나마르 수그르다 간데
Yes.
길라고래
Yes. So if anyone amongst you, the audience, the listener, then would like to protest and say that, how come you say you are not there? You are there sitting on the throne, on top of the throne there, I can see you. Then the Genla will reply to you who is protesting. This is not me. This is only my body is here, but this is not me. This is not I. This is not me. My body sitting on the throne, but this is not the I.
다 기시에 수부디 나이바이나 기시 나이바이나 나 시비질에 네 수부디 메다다면 바가르제비나 네 수부상만 맵차차로 다 마다가는 누구래 다나 개와치마치만 누구래 다가래 제가 마다 나이 수부시야디 로가임바디 가서 하고 들어 나시야디다 수부디 찍고 많이 봐 로가임바 디나하고
So a simple proof to say that the body is not me, is not I, usually we relate just almost immediately the body and the I is the same, and we say it's not the same. The Genla will prove it's not the same. Why? Suppose the Genla pass away. The Genla dies. What happened to the body? The body will be cremated, then burned, and the body will cease to exist. The body will destroy. If the body and the I is exactly the same, by the time the body ceases to exist because being burned, then the I will be burned. This is not the case, because when the body ceases to exist, this I that we recognize to be I, it will be continue to the next life. So in this simple way, we can understand the body is not the I.
세상 아껴와 치마 루긴 하르바 토바 지긴 산지지 고반 토바 지긴 세라고라 수그디디 용고 말해 수그디디 르도 두고 말아 단다 기시 지과이나 디 수그디야 루고래 수그디도 해야 말아.
So this is applied exactly when we try to generate with the motivation. For example, when we say, I will achieve a good life in the next life. I will achieve liberation. I will achieve Buddhahood. So this I who will achieve a good rebirth in the next life is not the same with the body, because the body that we have now, he cannot go to the next life. The body cannot go to the next life. The body cannot achieve liberation. The body, this type of body, cannot achieve Buddhahood. So the body is going to be left behind, to be stop to exist, and this I, which is different from the body, that will achieve next life.
나와나 메심디 말에 베서나 야 대야 말해서.
If the body is not the I, then how about the mind? So it must be the mind which is the I. But then again, we will state the mind is not the I.
기시 메심디 나이 뭐이나 메심디기다 밀라추 셰고요리 메심디기 칼라사고고요리 로 메심디기 다베 자와다마는 랭고고요로 다 딜랭고요 말아. 내는 네지야 그러 네 최셰야 네 미션다 투야 기시 메심디 나이 뭐이나 다 메심그 칼라사고로 메심그 칼라사고 말어. 어디 빼나와도 돼.
If we state that the mind is the I, then the consequence of this, the implication of this, that means the mind will need to teach the Dharma, the mind will need to eat. So for example, when the Genla is doing activities such as teaching the Dharma and meeting people, it's the Genla who is doing that, it's not the mind of the Genla. If the mind and the I are the same, that means the mind must also teach the Dharma, the mind must also eat. The mind is not eating. If we say the mind and the I is the same, the I is the body is taking the food, etc., the Genla. But if we say the mind is the same as the I, then the mind must also take the food. This is not the case.
tubuh saya bukan saya, batin juga batin saya bukan saya. Jadi saya nggak ada selain itu kenza cakro.
Yes, yes, yeah. So by this, if we say based on the conclusion that we have just seen, then my body is not the I, my mind is not the I, so I do not exist. If we say that I do not exist, this is also a bit strange, isn't it?
마음이도 나디 말베 다디 말베 그자 그래도 뭐네 내가 dindo요 단다디 지진 셰랍 생기러 제림부시기 로마 지진 셰랍 생기세나 규메 차다 빈디레 규메다자 차 디바고 지진 셰랍 생기 제사 갑디 뒤잠바다 제림부시기다 또 미기 따위 고르 송인 뒤잠바 다 지진 셰랍 생기다 따위 또미 따와 줄리게 그래서 또미 따와니데 다배 홉백하라 항상 그런데 주니 마세에 가워도 왔을 때 어떤데 좀 그랬어요. 그 누구요?
Yes. So then the body is not I, the mind is not I, so I don't exist. So if I don't exist, it's a bit strange. But regarding to this, there is a particular master which is called Jejun Sherab Sengye, who established the Gyume Drajang, the Tantric Gyume Drajang, which is a disciple of Je Rinpoche. So when Je Rinpoche is explaining about Sunyata, it is explained that at that time, Je Sherab Sengye achieved the view of emptiness. And at that time, when he realizes emptiness, it is said that Jejun Sherab Sengye a bit shocked because he realizes emptiness is a bit shocked.
어딘들이 세상 알아줘야 답이지 동이 있다와서야 되다 삼당도 들으제 삼당을 삼어도제 수제 제제제 큐닝이야 민도 삼제데 어디 가나야다 삼로 때 조금 소리 때 낭투비나다 야고이므리
So basically what we have just seen, the elaboration, is the view on emptiness. The simplest way to practice this is when we try to search for the I. So we try to search for the I. Where is the I? Where is I? And try to search it. Is it here? Is it there? Is it there? Is it here? Then the final answer is we cannot find the I. By the time we cannot find the I, then we can put it into a state of realizing there is no I in the form of concentration meditation. We put our mind into it, but when we have found the conclusion there is no I, then we stabilize it by a concentration meditation. This is the way to go about it.
아마란조 콩로 첨보들 사회 갑라야 인지미지 들리지 공부 시투비야나 hendo 첨보 시위 유지그리도
And for the specific context that we can apply this type of meditation, so whenever we feel that we are in the state of a great anger, at the time that we know that we are completely angry, a large anger, very angry, this is the time to apply this type of meditation right at that moment. And the result, the benefit you can feel, you try to feel the benefit. It should be a great benefit at that time.
아지다 마란조 동이 첨보 연구여 봐라. 안에 콩로 첨보 랑바라 들려가서 대 삼당이나 대지 연구 유배 소리도 나도 다가서 디제비나 이나야 배 나자 슉 첨보지다나 다데 나자 당기 등하데 까바도가 삼직세가 진 현행이야 민두 삼제 삼당투 민두 가르세나 배 나지 슉 디기로 네 말한 양년이 디제나로 나즈 배 슉첨부 지단데 슉첨부 다야 나즈 당기 미디 단다 가와도가 제비나 제가로 제투민데 가르스는 나즈디 수 슉진 이마도 공들라 소바 두밀라 소바 준비 그 삼다이나 대제 땅투비 유베 소리 좋아.
So the effectiveness of this type of meditation, the one we try to apply on the emptiness, trying to seek for the I, this is based on personal experience, is very beneficial at the time of great suffering, at the time when we experience great anger. We can apply this. This is for sure. It will be a different case when we are in a state of heavy sickness, when we are ill or we are sick. When we are sick, the body is influenced totally by the sickness, especially when there is heavy sickness, severe sickness. By the time we are sick, a heavy sickness, we try to apply this type of meditation based on personal experience. It's very difficult. At that time, when we are very sick, then we still have to try to search for the I. Where is the I? We cannot do it. There is no ability to do it at that time because the body itself under the influence of the sickness. On the other hand, this type of meditation, when applied during great suffering, especially in great suffering, and then especially when we are in the state of great anger, this can be applied. This based on personal experience.
어디 공부 인지미지 시토나야고 그래. 아다디 공부하고 시토비나 디 공부 시기 미디 릭디 때서 콩로 총아요. 콩로 사총조디 요 말이. 콘도 남상 콘도 사초저디 싸우니는 요 말이 다 디데지 그래서 곰들이 차비나
Yes.
This is what I would like to request for all of you to try to practice in such a way to gain a habit on this. Because a person who can apply this well, what happens is that at the beginning phase, this is the application when we are in the state of anger already. But when we try to apply this type of meditation, by the time we got the habit to apply this, then what happens is that naturally the person will not so easily be angry because already had a habit. In terms in natural, this person will be a little bit very calm. It's not easy to get angry. What is initially an antidote to apply when we are already state in great anger, you try to practice it, the result will be felt. It calms down the anger. The person will not easily be angry.
이거를 찹사당의 요리 우선 당의 요리
Do we have a break time? Yeah. Kamachu dini tanda.
올려서 재산 와딘데리 다디 민지 공부시 투비나 안에 콩도 채보이나 충준도 야라고 안에 충준마다 맵이나 배대 맵 차야 이 땡땡인 거였어요.
So by this way of applying the meditation, naturally you can feel itself, you can see the one with great anger, it will naturally be lessened, will be decreasing, and the one with lesser anger will naturally be completely overcome. This is something that we can certainly guarantee, sort of say, if we apply this type of meditation.
세상 알아줘야 장주지 씁니다. 돈이도 따와니 이나니 뉴모 맵스야 돼. 돈이도 따와디마도 장주지 씁지 뉴모 맵스 두고 말세요. 경제 어디리.
It is due for this reason that between the two great qualities, the spirit of enlightenment and the wisdom, understanding, emptiness, in order to overcome klesha, we need the wisdom, understanding, emptiness. In order to overcome klesha, we cannot rely upon the spirit of enlightenment.
남시 렌좀에 봐 지자를 땡땡밀로 통화 담임에 예신이 진나 군지나 대세다에 잡아 줘봐라서가 지다 되는데 지다 따외 거로만에 지게 야청보다 바 띵사고 야고 캔더비나 다 우마세야디 마다비나 때스 가고르지 유무요라다 지단이 제빈 이내 단다디 냠내 낭단데 지부지자리 우마따나다 마다나다 단다 미슈버디 다가나리 냠내 낭단데 된다리 삼로 당당야 된다리 이나양 우마세야디 때비나 우메 나로레야 따따외 거로 하장이 예보다 안에 가르쳐 오래다 야청보 시고지 수요래다 간다.
So within this verse number 12, when it states that when the two occur not distinctly but concomitantly, and the mere sight of an infallible dependent arising gives rise to certain understanding of non-interior existence that destroys the mode of apprehension of the object, then the analysis of the view is complete. So basically what it's saying by this verse number 12 is about the philosophical view, and among the philosophical view, the highest one, the best view, is the middle way view. And it will depend, of course, about the opportunity that a practitioners can have either to study the philosophical view, to really get into the study of a philosophical view, which is the middle way. Then there will be a difference between someone who can study the middle way and the ones who is not studying the philosophical view of middle way. But either way, whether someone studying it or not studying it, the way of thinking or the way of practicing is just what we have seen. Because the way of thinking and the way of practicing is the one that we have elaborated, we have just seen. The difference is that if you suppose have the opportunity to learn about the middle way view. This is a very broad subject. This is a very deep subject. It can be elaborated very broad and very deep regarding the view of the middle way.
다 예수 고향 아마레 예세미양 아마레스 된들 라브로 다 된들 라비나 나데 거여리 다 간다 예세미양 아마이 예수 고향 아마이 다 거라 중지디 켄스로 다 기시 예셈데 나이 뭐이나 예셈데 예 토고디게 무신 거고 간다 예 토고에 나 무신 거로 예 토고에 나 무신 거로 또 깨나르로 야 타만 사야 깨나르로
Okay.
제자한테 기시 예sem데 나이미는 예토부에 예sem데 하고 보거든 무신 거거든 예sem데 예토부에 무심이나 예sem데 까버레 나버레 장부레 쳔버레 충주레 디 하고 보거든 되나 하고 그 말은 이 중전라 때는 예sem데 나마이 뭐더니 시도 그래서 딜
Yes. So when we assert that the I is not the body, the I is not the mind, so where is the I or what is the I? So when we say the I is not the body, we already seen the reason. The I is not the mind, we already seen the reason. You have understood it. Then if we say that the I is not the mind, when we say that I know my friend. So suppose if you have a friend, then you know your friend, you know it well, then you say, I know my friend. As for the mind, can you say about like this toward your friend about your mind? When you say, I know my mind, can you say? So your mind, our mind, whether the mind is white in color or yellow in color or green in color, what is the size of the mind? Is it big? Is it small? This is something that we don't know. So you cannot say you know your mind. The same that you know, you say, I know my friend, you cannot say, I know my mind, because you don't.
다 냠내지기메 나 냠내지야 돼 가르세나 나라 야구윤야게 체도 냠내지고 다 마민도 로 다디 상으로
Yes.
수수 야구윤야게 체도 개와치마다들이 야구윤야게 체도 냠내 최 냠내지고로 다 마민도 예수고는 아마레 예세미는 아마레 다 마민도세야 돼 차거려 봐다
So perhaps there is one who can think like this. Since there is no I, then there is no necessary for me to practice the Dharma. Because you said it yourself, I is not the body, then I is not the mind, then there is no I. Since there is no I, then there is no need to practice the Dharma. There is no need for someone to think about the happiness of next life. So there is no need to practice the Dharma since there is no I.
그 디마나 아까워도 그래 나 내가 이제 제라세 네 가다 아구 가다 다 녜세면 아마레 다 빼나로 녜세면 아마레 류양 아마레 다 나세야 돼 가와샤 그래 저란도 집에는 가와샤 그래서 비와당는 리서리 되디
Yes. So for this, let us do some Q&A here. You think very well, please. This is a question for you now. So the I is not the body. The I is not in the body. The I is not in the mind. So the question is simple. Where is the I?
Okay.
Ngayo maresa.
야,
Ngayo mare.
나야 말해. 나는 나요 말했어요. 나면은 내 강바요 말이, 내 빈자요 말이, 네 맵차례다. 변화로와 다니 여바 만조나 다니 여바 갈라 주를 세다 지금 도해나리 디송을. 변화 다스야 되면 다게 라바요 말이. 나면은 내 라바 요 말이 내 강바 요 말이 내 부구 요 말이 내 강바 요 말이 가르세나 이 양라다 양라지로 싸와디 나들라 때네 나의 라바 내 부구 내 뒤지구나 다 싸와 나디 매면에 뒤야 요 말.
So if you say there is no I, that will have implication. Because if you say there is no I, then there will be no, you don't have any house, you don't have any children, you don't have anything in your possession. Because within the sutra, the meaning of the sutra is that, so anything within there is a base of the root of something, then the implication related to the root. So if there is an I, then we can say my hand. So if you say no I, that means that you don't have any hand. If you say there is no I, that means you don't have your house, you don't have your children, you don't have your family, you don't have anything that you can say mine, because you say there is no I.
예. 나가다 그러. 응? 그래. 응. 응? 이네. 야. 야. tangan kamu bukan kamu ya. Nah, kepala kamu bukan kamu. Kamu di mana? Kamu di mana? Gak ada. Nah, ini apa ya? Biasanya kita apa ya? Usually deh, namanya usually nih jelas betul. Usually. 산예 죄단 소지 초남라 장주바도 다니 capsu치 다기 진서 아니 다 ini aku ya aku nggak ada Anda jadi bagaimana itu ya oke aku ada umumnya ada aku tetapi aku ini bukan tubuh saya tubuh aku bukan apa ya batin aku tetapi ada aku kalau nggak ada aku bagaimana saya tidak bisa kerja tidak bisa ngomong ini semua nggak bisa ya ini yore lah orang nggak yore sih nggak sih itu garisnya shumna lah tuh biasa yore 다시 풍부함 시 가론라 딱에 나쌈 세제니 다 데데기 지비니시 아고 디레 가르사나 다시 풍부세라 풍부가이로 풍부가다 풍부시 가론레 풍부시 풍부가다 풍부시 가론라 딱에 나쌈세 쌈다지요레 쌈 민쌈세 얘기다 어디 안에 나기 되리라 나세 디리 나 요리라 이나 나디 네 수부 말에 네 세명마에 이나야 나여라 나 여기에 가르쳐서 다시 풍부함 신가룰라 딱이 나 잠시고
Yes. So when you say there is no I, actually is not correct, because when you say no I, there is many consequences. So you say no I, so there is no hand, there is no house, there is nothing that you can say to be mine. So there is an I. But then how this I exists? If you say no I, then the example given when we recite to the Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha, I take refuge until the enlightenment itself. You cannot, without I, you cannot even recite the verse, because within the verse there is I take refuge. There is an I. So it comes down, how does the I exist? The I exists based on definition, on the basis of the aggregates, be it 5 or 4 among the two, be it 4 aggregates or 5 aggregates, on the basis on the 5 or 4 aggregates, then there is a I, which is a labeling. It exists only merely based on labeling. So the I does exist, but how does the I exist? We must understand, and this is given clearly by the definition. It's not the body, it's not the mind, but on the basis of the aggregates, be it 4 or 5, And on the basis of this, the I exists only by mere labeling.
အဲ့ဒီကုသဖြစ်နေတာ
Yes. And by this time, we take a short break.
大喜若地就是没道上，对了，你心是你的。
Pade sangye sinto mete uwagi tuko namda singla chobar sho rana mandala kam niryata ya me.
내가 민재님들 되고 산재 신도 니들고 로그 남다 제가 저가 이랑 거로라 itu bubacara
Susu di ngapa bardura. Ini susu ceka ngadang ngapa nih ngapa cek ngadang ceka bardu dua dileng.
이라서 알았어요. 그래서 사람은 나 강다야 단다디 다시 공부가 신가루라 따라서도 시험만 가르면서야 경제 갈수는 도매기 가사도 풍부 심어도요 말이야. 도매기 가사도 수지 풍부요 말이야. 그래서 공부 나 말아도 되게 가사다 안에 수지 가사도 풍부 나가요. 그래서 공부 시험만 가르라 따게 나sam스고요. 가르면서야 뒤 경제 뒤에서 나sam스게 쌈라되게 말아도 나와나 히디 요 말에서 그랬다. 나세 말아도 찍나야지라 툭툭도 찍 강나야 마테바 나가 휴지나야죠 어디요 말했어 봐.
So before we have just seen what is the definition of I. So either by 4 or 5 aggregates on the basis of 4 or 5, then the I exists based on labeling. So between 4 and 5, why there is a 4 or 5? If it's a 4, because it's referring to the beings born in the formless realm. For the beings in the formless realm, they do not have the aggregate of form. So for them is the 4 aggregates. On the basis of 4 aggregates, then the I is based on labeling. As for the other types of being, say for a desire realm being and the form realm being, they have form. So total they have 5 aggregates. On the basis of 5 aggregates, then the I exists based on labeling. What is meant by existing based on labeling? It means that the way we perceive it to be something that is truly existing, there is something that can exist by itself without any causes and condition, is something that we think that there is something, a bunch like a bunch like the floating, there is something exists that truly exists from its side. Doesn't need any cause and condition. It just exists by itself. The way we perceive it, grasping at self-perceiving this I, this does not exist. And this is why it is said only mere labeling.
다 디질래야 다 신규의 투무 많이 따와 소리지다. 시야 나외 예다 세와다 동배 메다 세시 동반이 유다 제부 차의 수시나 가지다의 법을 민주로 세다디리. 나도 나디 가르에서 디자마다 디 팅규의 시월 단데 팅규가 세지여라. 나 팅규로에다 최 강다 강이 메이네 나와 잠마도 대바두비요 말했어. 대바두시에디 지kenzo. 대바두비요 말에 제가 대바마두가 송자 안에 또 남도 대바두가 열에서야 돼 파세로 그랬어. 세를 가서 나왜 예다 세지여라. 나왜 예배 타세서야 돼. 안에 최 강다 강인자 나와 잠래 대바마두비 차네 안에 배지 또 남도 예바디 파세 그랬어. 제 나왜 예다 세와 단세들이.
Thank you, Wei. Madhyamika Prasangika di Reves. Kuma thank you, Wei.
아니 신경 말다 인교다다 마디야 미가세들이 마디 미가나로래 니요래데 예 디나로네 우마랑 유바세야다 팅유바세야데 다 팅유바세야데 다 따와 토시들이 간다 좀다 토시들
Madhyamika Prasangika.
뭐 인제래 단다디 병요 바벌루도 고불루도 지르
And by this we continue to the next verse, verse number 13, where following the text saying that, moreover, if the perception of appearances removes the extreme of inherent existence and that of emptiness removes the extreme of non-existent, and you understand that it is thanks to emptiness that cause and effect exist, you will no longer be lured by extreme views. So this one verse is explaining based on the philosophical view, which is called the Madhyamika Prasangika view. And based on this view, that is explaining that the perception only as a perception, because the perception of appearances removes the extreme of existence, and then also the view of emptiness removes the extreme of non-existence.
Xie yang na wei yu da se wa da. Dong bei me da se xi dong ba ni se. Dong bei me da se se je ro. Di ga se na na zam di rang wei ne ma du ba la de ne dong bei ta ni du me be me da se wa yin se. Pe na dong bei me da se se ya de ga re se na. Da be rang wei ne ma du ba re se ro. Rang wei ne ma du se de ba ma du ba re se. De ba du bi yo ma re se. De ba du bi yo ma re de ming zam ji yo re se. Ta ni du yo re se. Ano 어디 맵에 타디 파세네 요리에서 버리다.
The first thing we see is the perception of appearance removes the extreme of inherent existence because it exists only by appearances. And when it says that emptiness removes the extreme of non-existent, the non-exist there is because something that truly exists by itself, it does not exist. It exists only by labeling. We cannot completely negate everything to say that it doesn't exist completely, because emptiness will say that it doesn't exist, but it is not existing completely. It exists by labeling. And by understanding this is the correct understanding of emptiness, because emptiness removes the extreme of non-existent. It is not completely non-existing in a sense of nothing exists at all, but it is non-existing based on emptiness, the emptiness of the truly existing self.
다 규단 제부 차의 수시나 탈제다의 초과 민주로서 다디 된다 고대버리 주변에다 된지리 지단 다단다 라시지 두바세의 요마레 대바 두바세의 요마레라라 대바 두바세의 요마레스 다 최 탐제 대바 두바의 요마레데 이나야 규단 제부다의 편지 되는 두바 요레스 변항하다도 준대기 땐데도서로 규단 제부세야도 지기 찍라 땐로 규 제부 규라 땐바다 도지 땐이 두대로 다 제자 덴데임바 손다 안에 가르치고리다 편지 되면데 다 직도 차에 취디 레버시바이나 안에 토마메반에 뒤다 대버지 땅에 대 시험화도 취자 유디리네 탄진이 따위 라와 탐제 초벌 민주로 세다 된다디리 다 저걸로 노르디지 슈비나 따기 슈바나 시리다 가르에스도 잠바 단다 말하죠 안에 한이도 요리에서 그래 최탐제 템버 두비요 말이스 템버 두비요 말이 나도 나와나시 요 말이 이나야 탄이도 요리스에 대 가르스나 민zam지 요리에서로 다 딱이 가나 슈바나시 거라 더블 차고 그랬다 다 단다 나도 녀그데 가와 요리스지 잠바 말하죠 템버 두비요 말이세야지다 민zam지 요레스야디 다 식디니 요레다 요 마레스야디 디 챵바데 야고 마시베 온기 아는 알아서 레사 레디 온기 아는 알아서 콜 두스 참데버어 밀로디 주송데
So when it says the next line, and you understand that it is thanks to emptiness that cause and effect exists, you will no longer be lured by extreme views. So we assert that something that truly existing by itself, something can truly existing by itself, this does not exist. Then we assert that from the cause must come the corresponding result, and this is the principle of what is called dependent arising. From one cause depends on this cause will comes the result. Then depends on the result in turn become the cause and comes the result. So one depending on the other, and depending in turn becomes the basis for to become for another from one with the other dependent arising from a cause will come the corresponding result. And then what is the truly existent is non-existing because it non-existing from the way we perceive it. The way we perceive it is incorrect because we perceive it with grasping as self. With the perception that is grasping as self, we perceive something to be truly existing from itself, which is non-existing. But then it does not completely non-existing because it exists by merely labeling. So what we see here is basically the same that we have just seen previously. We just repeated, the concept is the same. But then where is the problem? So where is the problem? The problem is because the term, what the truly existent does not exist. There is a not here, negation. Then it does exist based on mere labeling. So between not existing and it does exist, these two are in the surface level is a contradictory. The fact that we are not understanding that it is not contradictory, it is us now on the surface level, we say these two are contradictory. On one hand, you say it's not existing, the truly existent self not existing, then you say there is existing based on the dependent arising. The two being contradictory, then from that, the next implication, we committed karma. The next implication by committing karma, we accumulate the results of the karma. The results of karma is now we are in the samsara.
예전다 대바를 누가 요 말에서로 맞아 나와 나신 요 말에 문에도 요 말에서야 되다 민zam기 안에 민zam기 요래서야 돼. 이 개발대 야부 마치비 원게 단다 맞아 고알아 내려와. 다 개발대 야부 체비에나 된레 따와 냠바티기 원도 만도 로그 말에서 따와 냠바티기 말한지 안에 셈 이봐 거고 말에서 와다 디시비에나 당원에 따와 원에 디레서야
So in a very practical, in a very easy way to explain this, the way we grasping at self is incorrect because we have grasping at self. So we grasp at self, then we say things to be truly existent from itself, which is not there. The existence of truly existent is not there. This is the truth. Then how does it exist? It exists merely on labeling. Simply by merely labeling, it does exist. So between not existing and does exist, the difference between the two is non-contradictory, but on our side, we see it to be contradictory. Due to the fact that we still see it as the two to be contradictory, the implication is that we are now still in samsara. The fact that we are still in samsara because we see the contradiction between the two and we still have the wrong view, which is grasping at self. We grasping as the truly existing by itself, which is not there. And we still don't grasp the understanding that everything exists only merely by labeling. And we see the contradictory between the two. And for this, by the time we can see the difference between the two in a correct way meaning that is non-contradictory, then we achieve the correct view. And by achieving the correct view, then we can achieve something within our mind to stop the incorrect view. And in order to start to get the correct view, we can have start to gain the correct understanding. And this correct understanding gradually will take us into the real view itself, the correct view itself. This is the most simplest way to explain this.
이 제리야 네반년에 두발 구하다마스 다디 가르스나 내다 남게 조 남숨기 내남랑기 지신이 또 있어 엠바텐데 엠바텐데 준비 똑게네 땡기도만 유도 두시 부세 다 데려와 다 구마당 거래지래 계란 데리 지슈스야 저들이 다 된다디 가르쳐도 삼아 대다 남기 조 남순기 있어다 안에 다 가나 다 망부지 숨사려와 남기 조 남순기 조 남순기 내남 다 남기 조 남순디기다 안에 내가도서 배나 내종기 안에 장주 장생기 내가르부터 가르가리면 안에 동의도부에 내르비 내가 개체버르비 가르가리임에대 내남랑이 다 제림지 고랑기 안에 지신이 똑배 세더라 고랑이 강 똑바데 안에 마두지 디지구유 제가 안 어디 봤습니다.
Verse. And from this, we continue to the next verse, verse number 14. Following the text, Rinpoche says, when in this way you have correctly understood all the points regarding the three principal qualities of the path, O son, while residing in solitude, cultivate powerful enthusiasm and quickly achieve your ultimate goal. So basically, this is a verse of encouraging. The Rinpoche is encouraging the listener, the one who is reading the text or studying the text. So whatever that have been explained in the three principal qualities of the path in the previous verses and the one that we just saw in the previous one, what are those? Those are none other than the renunciation, the spirit of enlightenment, and the excellent view, the wisdom, understanding, emptiness. Then these are all achieved by Rinpoche Rinpoche in his realization. And within this last verse, he has done so. So he encouraged the disciple to gain the realization.
제자 제림부지 호랑이다 안에 남주조 남송다 지신이 똑바로와 똑바 낭신 안에 배지 다다 호랑이 다다 낭시디 디리 다다 사고 나와다고 세디라 제림부지 비냐 사고 나와다고 하네 안에 계란야 다 배지 안에 남주조 남송지 네 다다 안에 똑바 제네 엠바테네 순디 똑기네 네 엠바테네 다 순디기 배제 첨부제네 안에 땡기 뒤마 세야 돼 산제 주고 봐라 안에 산제 주고 봐 두시 산제 주고 봐 두바tom도 마세 산제 주고 봐 뮤도 두시 조고 두시 부스는 세와 세우고니 디숨바레스 다 만족고도 제르미 지금 만돌라 숨고도 삼고 그래서라 부스야디 제르미 지 거라 당고 숨도 사고 나오다 벌 숨로
So this verse Rinpoche is stating that he himself, Rinpoche, has gained the realization of the great qualities of the three principal qualities of the path, and he is encouraging the disciple. Who is the disciple? These three principles of the path is addressed to the disciple, which is called Sawo Ngawong Drapa. So the origin of this text is Rinpoche teach to the disciple Sawo Wangpo Ngawong Drapa. And to Sawo Ngawong Drapa, Rinpoche said, you please gain the same realization by utilizing the way, which is here, is say, residing in solitude and cultivate powerful enthusiasm. These are the way. We have the disciple must reside in solitude and cultivate the power of enthusiasm in order to achieve ultimate goal. What is ultimate goal? Ultimate goal is none other than the Buddhahood itself. So Rinpoche encouraged the disciple to achieve Buddhahood, but not just encouraging. He said, please achieve the Buddhahood quickly. So the state of Buddhahood must be achieved quickly. There is a word quickly here. And then when Rinpoche said, O son here, this is of course referring to Sawo Ngawong Drapa. It is with great love by Rinpoche as the master to the disciple Sawo Ngawong Drapa. When we read the verse, O son, and you hear this, we have to think Rinpoche addressed this personally to us. When he said, O son, it is to us. Please reside in solitude, cultivate powerful enthusiasm, achieve your ultimate goal, the Buddhahood, quickly.
다 대답이 민주 장생 양답에 따와송디 규를 깨버지구리에서야디 지단대야 흉치면나라 까 송관나지 지마지신 지 수수규라는 배지 깨버지고 버리에서 ro nanam rangi jishin tokwe se jishin se dia da chik dirwa shung cheme na la ya minjo chasim yang da be tawa sum kandu sun yori le sum ba na shin ane rangi gi kyule che ber chigures
So in this last verse, the first two lines, when it say, when in this way you have correctly understood all the points regarding the three principal qualities of the part, what is the meaning of this? The meaning is that whatever reference of the spiritual text, the philosophical text, the references towards the three principal qualities of the part, the references regarding renunciation, the references regarding the spirit of enlightenment, and the references regarding excellent view, by relying on those references, the great text, then you should pursue these great texts and then to understand them correctly in order to achieve it. This is what is meant by this first two lines in verse 14.
di yin je di ane namsung gi ta chön de ji ya di zhu yin
And by this, the explanation of the three principal qualities of the part being completed.
da di ji da ngama ne rewa chen bu yu ji da dang bu nga de yung de ne namsung da be chön de ji ya ge da sam lu de ji yo de di ina ya kap de di rim bu chi ane di song ro karasa da di ji zhe da bo jian zhen ji ma zhe ane xian ba xi de se ju ro xian ba xi de da namsung de ne ma xu ya di cha chi ji du za ma ne rim bu chi ngai la namsung pa xia dang bu xian ba xi de di ane ci xi da lu song ci xi jian ga za ci ni da lu de xie jiao ci ni lu jian ma de xie jiao wo du song ne da dan da ba du du zhe ha ge da dan da di namsung de ya wo ji lo sang ane ma rang yao sang ma chung si
So by this, when we together, we completed the explanation on the three principal qualities of the part. This is something personally is very grateful. Why? Because originally, this is the initial plan to share about the three principal qualities of the part, but yet to be realized, to be conducted, not immediately can be conducted, because based on the blessing and the planning that is discussed or consulted with Kyabje Tapo Rinpoche, initially the topic to be proposed is none other than the three principal qualities of the part by Je Rinpoche. But at that time, Kyabje Tapo Rinpoche said it is better to start with the Jezun Drapa Gyaltsen text, which is parting from the four attachments. So at that time, it is very clear, Kyabje Tapo Rinpoche gives the instruction, you explain about the first two of the parting from the four attachment the first year, and then the next year continue with the last two to make a parting from the four attachment. So the initial plan for the three principal parts of the qualities is not yet to be conducted, but now we just see it together. Now we just complete it in short, but managed to see through it the fact that we can complete this text, the three principal qualities of the part.
ane tari temde de ya wo xie wo ji chung si temde ya wo jun ya chung je ka re se na ta ma zo tan da zhe me je na di phu ro da di ji ya ngo do ra de ane tu mo lam jang wo de do go re tu mo lam jang se ya de zo ane lam je zo nam sum de re wa de tu mo lam jang wo de do go de da ma ra zo ane je na ngo do ra de da lam zo nam sum de je di je le ya je na wa de je ngo ne temde ti bo ran
Yes. So the fact that we can complete it all the sessions is a very auspicious, especially for this session that we can able complete, because as we seen today, during the course of today, we managed to participate, or we conducted the session which is the Jana of the Tara. So Jana of the Tara initially must be conducted. Before that is the common part. The common part, what is the common part? The common part is referring to the Lamrim, which is the Lamsung Namsung, or the three principal qualities of the part. So we conducted the Jana of the Tara with the preliminaries, the three principal qualities of the part. This is very auspicious. And this is carry a great sign, a very good sign.
지난데 땡레를 쉬고지 지기도 하고 오늘 저는 알아서 땡레 뒤고 말이디 고라랑 신기 뒤로야지도 이래제 나나야디 뒤주디 그지 정말에 안에 난다 다고다상게 차 대바고 안에 최질로데 되면 공속이 뒤지리들이
Yes,
이 값도 되려냐 뒤주디 되지 야고리치도
yes. So for the auspiciousness of this such an event, the teaching itself carries great auspiciousness. The Janang session carries great auspiciousness in itself, but then the timing also carries auspiciousness because today is the lunar date of the 15th, the full moon, and then this correspond to the date of the parinirvana, achieving enlightenment of the one who established the Dapo Dhatang or the Dapo monastery, Je Lodro Tempa. Today is the commemoration of the parinirvana of Je Lodro Tempa, the one who established Dapo monastery.
어디를 제사다 돌드니 쉬비나 문에 여와상 버려주죠 안에 다이 규림을 되다 간데 용구에 메디 제라 나다다 말아도 천대지야 다다 님은 가시 여러 가지 안에 갈리마 이 쉬위 안에 들이데 참시하게 있어
So in short, this is all very auspicious, and in short, this is all have been very beneficial. Everything goes smoothly, and this is the time according to the session and the timetable. And in the future time, be it the near future or the upcoming future, we will still have to establish many Dharma connection, many Dharma session. And for this explanation regarding the three principles of the paths, we can complete it by this point.
디바라를 지워지는
Yes. And by this, we come straight to the question and answer. Is it? Son tạo đi. Gom chập tu. yet color to be added, which is green. With the one that we just see now, be it white, yellow, red, or dark blue, we see it individually. But then there is still one color that is not mentioned, which is green. Green itself in the text is explained to be the all-encompassing color for activities, because this green color can cover all other types of activities or all other types of achievement. So all those can be combined together to take the color green.
Tanda di tiwade ane na yu du samba mazule pipo di kisi sebo majumbo yina sebo majumbo je ma sha je yang jar jele ya ya di sebo yu yak che du tiwa yang ja tang na ra nas na di da di je ba ji sebo chuma so di ane pe ya bo cha ro ane mazule ka ja ba de ji sebo chuna ma chuna sha be na da ma di bri chiri.
Yes. So up to this point, I suppose the elaboration just given now and with the question itself is not so clear. So the one who posing the question can further elaborate it, just submit your question, because if you clarify the question further, then the elaboration can be clarified further as well. So up till now, this is the elaboration to be offered to the question. If it's not clear, please, you can further clarify the question or based on the elaboration just now, then together we can clarify it again. And then ta dramaturgy thì tàng perna senresiki mikchuva changi mikchu di drum chik yore dramaturgy dan senresik mikchu di delwa candidates.
Reben luju da cheresi ki mikchu luju kandere se. Are ta chida tendero melo di maso.
Yes. So the question is, what is the connection between the history of Tara recounted this morning, meaning the previous session, and the story of Tara's origin as being from a teardrop of Avalokiteshvara?
Ta chida cheresi mikchu di kandere dewa yore se. Cheresi mikchu jiya di ka chere si ro. Di kandere se chabere se de koran sewa nyingji chebo yo sunza. Tabe je simjingi nyingji la kata simjingi tungi signe dela nyingji jine kaduyine chenjab sigu yore so. Kaduyine chenjab sigu yore so. Ana wadi chane da chere siksiya di ro. Siksiya di simjingi tungi la pa signe ane be je tu sewa nyingji chebo jine ane rawa me bata mikju denbo sigu ro. Wadi rize, tambo wadi jishude.
So when it's mentioned the deity which is Avalokiteshvara, Avalokiteshvara itself in Tibetan term is referred as Chandrasik, and the meaning is the one who sees the suffering being, who overlooks suffering being with compassion. So Avalokiteshvara at all time, at any given time, can see that sentient beings are suffering. And because he sees the sentient beings are suffering, he naturally generate compassion. And with this compassion, the eye is looking towards the sentient beings who are suffering with compassion.
Ta chenre siksiya, chen siya de ngarazi migla la gora. Migde la chen la gora. Chesa ta de tenda wadiro.
As for Avalokiteshvara, the Tibetan term is Chandrasik. The Chan is referring to the meaning is eye.
Ta deda anebe jizu tume lukyu di rewa kare yore se sumba ina. Ta chida nyama ta keba mambu mwen ta tung sori ra tung siguru lukyu siguru. Ane kelon dima me ba asiya chi chumbare se kelon chi chumbare ta. Ta ingyu di kelon di ta chere sigi di gyuba sigure ta chere sigi gyuba sena mindu ta chere sigi ta kujiri di re kewa chigi resha kandar. 와델라 다 지주드마 다 안에 제레스 안에 민삼노마 팀리스 지주드마 월 슈니 제레스 게노드마 메바시지 여러 와델라마 팀네 다 지주드마 세나다 다 제레스 세나다 찍거다고 차버렸어요 무기디요다 멜로디송
Yes. So regarding the connection between Avalokiteshvara, the Chandrasik, with the history of the Tara, so the way we can see it, perhaps we start with the Chandrasik history to relate it, because for the Chandrasik history, Avalokiteshvara history, there is in one of the previous life of Avalokiteshvara, he was born as a monk, which is called the pure monk, without stainless, without any stain, which is the meaning of the name, the monk. And this monk, being the one of the previous incarnation of Avalokiteshvara, then he can merge Avalokiteshvara in the form of light, enter into the middle forehead, where the location of the third eye. And during that time, it is said that between Avalokiteshvara and Tara is more or less the same. If it's Avalokiteshvara, is also Tara.
예인바 순자 안에 지주드마디 닝질하이 지다 파파 제레스인데 닝질하리스로 어디나 지주드마디야 닝질하 들을 차버려서 그래 가다르게 투주 찍은데는 봐 슈다 오만데 봐나 찍은데
Yes. So the fact that the monk, which is one of the incarnation of the Avalokiteshvara, merged with the Tara, it is the reason why we also state that Tara is also the goddess of great compassion. Usually when we say great compassion, this is related directly to Avalokiteshvara, but since Avalokiteshvara and Tara is the same, Tara is also the deity of great compassion.
제사 닝지 첨보세야 돼 예배에는 믹디 갑돌이 열어서 그래 믹 그래서 믹하데 주주 열어서 그래 닝지 첨보인요 배 줄라 세와 닝지 첨보세야 돼 연아 믹디 때서 민다요 미디 민다요 미도 바 갑돌 들려요
Yes.
배나 제레시 들려 말아 배나 닝지 셔라메야나 믹디 리리 울라르기 미나셔 리리 들려요 그래서 그래서 된다 제자 지주들마다 다 산재 망쳐 미 신도 저 리무에 봐. 이 닝지들이도.
So the great compassion is such a great quality. There is a very high and great quality. Those with compassion, it is said to be explained that even those with great compassion, we can see it through the complexion in the form of the eye. So those with the great compassion, the eye is like a long shape. Those compared to the one without great compassion, the eye is round. The shape of the eyes is round, like a coiling snake. When snake is coiling, it's round. And the one with great compassion, the eye is a bit different. Is long, like this. The shape is different. Is the sign of the one with great compassion.
But this
doesn't mean that when you see someone with a brown round eye, then you immediately judge this person, saying that this person doesn't have any compassion. It's not like that. It's not saying that. Just for you who take interest, perhaps you can observe based on the shape of the eye. I mean, the eye, the cornea, and the outside, the one that the area when we say the eye, you can observe on His Holiness the Dalai Lama. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, you observe the shape of the eye, the one that is put cornea inside, then the area when we call the eye, you can observe by yourself what is the shape.
ngeba yeme ta ju ro mo ne nya ning ji chen bu yu ge mi ju mi na xin yu ju de ne yo ro
Yes.
nya ning ji me ju nya ji mi ju mu de yu si
Yes, yes, yeah. But of course, this is something that this is an explanation, but the explanation itself, you have to use your wit, your intelligence, your wisdom. When we say that with the great compassion with such a shape of the eye, doesn't necessarily that it must be so on so and so only, because the one with that shape of eye who does not have great compassion also exists, and the one who is a circular rolling eye like a coiling snake who have great compassion also can exist. So please use your wit and wisdom in here.
ta wa de ne ji ngi re ta de ho yu ko
Drama nhằm lên năng nở ini lop trong ya po ma che ba che tene drama ki nhằm lên năng nở perna la me giu perna jikje tende di nhằm lên năng mena drama nhằm lên chipu tende sangi gopang tubya yorebes
yo ro da yo re se la wo re ta ji da da ju me nyam le ya wo na we yin na ta ba ra de nyam le ya wo ju na so nam sa ga re so ma bo sa ji ba ma bo cha ka le je da ko rang xin le yong re ko ka na re sang ye ya bi ta cha kin ga re yo na chang ma chang do re ta ka na re
So the question is, can one achieve complete enlightenment just by practicing Tara practice without systematic studies, for example, master program, or without highest yoga tantra such as Yamantaka, etc.? So this question, if you asking like this, is suppose someone can dedicate herself or himself into the practice of the Tara, of course, he will gain a lot of merit in terms of merit accumulation and then the purification of negativity or bad karma. And by doing this consistently, gradually, slowly but surely, all the supporting condition in order to achieve Buddhahood can come by itself. This is one way we can see. So long you stick to the Tara practice, you will gain a lot of merit. And by gaining a lot of merit, what is needed in achieving Buddhahood? All the conditions come together, and all the supporting comes together can be achieved to you. And this is when this is to be utilized in order to achieve Buddhahood.
ta de ya wo yu ya ta de ne re ro ji da ma zo de bom nang xin ma ra bom de gi da ane lung bo chi ni chi sha ja ka du le de gi bom nim je ro mi lo ro ko bi bo de lung bo ma bo sha ane chi ko sa lo ro di na xin ma ra zo je me nyam ne je da ane be ja lam sa be shen da de me je yi gi le tu ya de yo ma ra ko bom nim je ro ro yin na ka da nyam ne ra le re ta nyam ne ya bo na mo yin na ka re na mo yin di go re ta da de ja ju ju ka re na mo yin na ta be nam da yo ma re chun tu de na mo ma re
So regarding the way to go about a practice, or regarding the way to go about the Tara practice itself, this is something that is not something like a bomb. The way a bomb works, you know, when in a war, from one country, there releases a bomb, then the bomb fly over to another country and created a destructive effect. So this is when you do it in a war, you put a bomb, you send a bomb to other country. So this is when you send it directly like that, the flying bomb. So there is no stages in that. You skip all the stages, and this is not the way to do the Tara practice. So doing Tara practice is not like you are sending a bomb. Doing Tara practice is in stages. So long that one can dedicate himself to the practice of the Tara and do it properly. In this way, doing properly is a very important stage of our practice. If we can do just about anything properly, then we can just practice anything for that matter, be it a Kriya Tantra, the Yoga Tantra, Charya Tantra, anything you can do and practice so long you can do it properly. By this, we come to the end of the time because time is up. Chư sinh mê tô tráng, rì ra bình sinh nhị đề gen pa đi, sang ghé sinh tố mi tế u wa ghi, đô cô nam đa sinh la chô pa rì shô.
So ning ning ka ta yang pa gang shik sa pa de lok me ma re ge don ro ma nam nam dren gya we wang po da kyu chi ma son pe se ra kun tu yang jang pe yang ke se we je so ne en pe rim pa kun sam lam ge cho nye nye dru pe gyal nam nye je sho Rangi Jishin Tope Lamgi Ni Shuktra Se Trampe Tapke Ki Rume Yi Vi Mon Pasal Jen Gyal Ten Yun Rin Zing Gyushi Tempa Rin Chen Chogi Ma Kya Pa Kya Kya Nyam Pa Dupe Chom Den Nin Chen Po Yit Ra Kum Pa and the Sawa Jiva Seche Yahweh Mejon Trinpe Letro Chanchu Blanke Rinpegya Adonam Ke Yira Peltashi Yahweh Zepa Rindu Kyong Yuji Lam Sam Drupe Dun Ken Drujeji Gyal Ken Selje Mi Dam Mi Mikun Sera Kuntu Gyalve Napai Nanda Landa Drawa Magyuchi Tam Se Te Pa Chokla Cho 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 Sushin Drokla Sompa De Yuse Tuden Nam Ki Tatu Drojeshi Trashi Gyatso Choku Gya Yuchi
Kami namanya di Rio Maris, and cerita kena digiru kena. Yeah, please for you, would like to offer kata to Gisela. Please just come forward.